Hello and welcome to Real to Real Talk. I am your host, Paul Britton. We are here to do movie reviews. That's right, Real to Real Talk to movie reviews. Who'da thunk it? Just about anybody who's ever seen this show before, because that's what we do here. And no, I do not have How to Train Your Dragon live action review. I've only got one new release this past weekend. And this is one that actually had a release the weekend before, but got a wide release this past weekend, and that's The Life of Chuck. This is based off of a Stephen King short story. Apparently, I haven't read it, but apparently this is a short story that is in an otherwise pretty standard, sort of horror laden short collection of short stories from Stephen King. This is not a horror story at all. It's actually a very I'll say life affirming, for lack of a better term, but a very positive, very serious, and it takes itself seriously, and it respects the intelligence, which is great, the intelligence and and the experiences and the heart of the viewer, which is fantastic. And honestly, that's all I want out of a movie, especially something like this where it's different. So I'm in honor of this movie, I'm actually going to do something weird, and I'm going to just tell you this movie's getting 5 tacos plus guac here in real to real talk. We do tacos instead of stars, and if we feel like something deserves a little bit extra, we throw on guacamole on it. Why don't we just do a half a star or a half a taco? Because nobody eats a half fucking taco. So that I'm starting with the review. And the reason why I did that is because Life of Chuck starts with chapter 3. The movie does, chapter cards and act cards. Actually, it starts with act 3. And the movie opens up act 3. And we are in a world that is maybe ending. There are natural phenomenon happening all over. We see news and there's natural phenomenon happening all over. We're actually in a classroom setting with Chetua Okafor. Chiwetel Ejiofor. Oh, I'm never gonna get his name right, and I apologize. I'm terrible with names and pronunciations and everything. Chiwetel Ejiofor. You know who he is. I mean, he's in in a ton of movies. He's a fantastic actor. 12 Years a Slave, won Best Actor. Fantastic. Okay. And he's teaching a class, and he's teaching Walt Whitman in a high school English class, and all the kids are distracted because flashing on their phones is news that California has fallen into the ocean after a series of earthquakes. And this follows up, we find out, volcanoes in Germany, and just really strange events happening all over the world. And what we find is that people are just trying to rationalize the events and deal with the events and understand the events. And we are given the extra special treat of Karen Gillan, who was in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, the villain from not the villain, Nebula. Thank you, Nebula. She plays Nebula in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and she's fantastic in this. She plays the ex-wife of the teacher, and what we're finding out is that people are either just leaving their significant others because it's like, oh, I want to try this thing, or they are reconnecting with people that they had previous. And so like Karen and Chetwell try to get back together, or try to reconnect. And it's very sweet and tender, and also very strange because popping up all over town are these strange billboards for a guy by the name of Chuck Krantz, and the billboards just say, "Thank you, Chuck Krantz, for 39 great years." And so you're led to believe that he's a very sort of accountant looking guy. He's standing there smiling, and it's Tom Hiddleston, who plays Loki from the MCU. And he's just sitting there and smiling, and look, he's 39 years. Okay, well, if he's retiring, the guy doesn't look a day, at most he's like 45. And then, like, there are television advertisements for him, and one of the worst things that's happening is, like, the internet's going down, and so people are like, oh my god, what are we going to do without the internet? Like, just everything's breaking apart, everything's crumbling. And then we get sort of this shouldn't be a super huge spoiler. But we are given enough clues during this first act of the movie, which is the third act of Chuck's life, that this is the end of Chuck's life and the world is ending with Chuck. And so you're trying to decide how what is going on with that. And then at the end of Act 1, which is Act 3, which is the end, we are introduced to Act 2. And Act 2 is not, it is very similar to Act 3, which is it's not even a full day in the life of Chuck, but we do meet a 30-ish something Chuck who's at a conference, and he comes across a busker who has a set of drums, and she's busking, and he starts to dance to the drums. And then in dancing, we find out there's a woman who's also walking by who just got dumped from her boyfriend via text message. And she stops to dance with Chuck, and it's a really super magical 5-minute scene. And this is just a celebration of happiness, is what this scene is. And it's fantastic. It's definitely longer than 5 minutes. It's a great dance scene. Tom Hiddleston hits it out of the park, and the woman that he's dancing with is just to die for with her dancing. It's just unbelievable. And these three characters share a moment, and after the dancing's done, they share more moments, and it's really, really touching. And there is a narrator. It's narrated by Nick Offerman. We get very little narration during Act 1. Act 2, we get a little bit more, and we find out that actually, yes, Chuck does have brain cancer. It's just starting to pop up here and there during this Act 2, where he has to pause because he's having brain issues. And then Act 3 is where everything is explained. Or Act 1, which is his childhood, is when everything is explained. All of the sort of Easter eggs that are planted in Act 3 especially, but also Act 2, including the dancing, are explained when we find out that Chuck's parents passed away when he was 10, when he was 7. And he has been living with his grandparents, played by just an absolute masterclass in everything from Mia Sara, and Mark Hamill, who plays a fantastic alcoholic accountant. And just great layering during this Act 1 to explain Acts 2 and 3 in reverse order. And there's just enough of the Stephen King in there, the supernatural, to make it like, oh, well, that is fantastic. And this movie, if you open up to it and you're just like, I am ready for this sort of experience that is absolutely nonlinear, minimally narrative. It's just a character study for the most part, with bit narrative intertwined, and throughout Act 1, actually, we do find out a little bit more about what's going on with Chuck at the time of when Act 3 is going on. And it's magic. This fucking movie is absolutely magic. It's my favorite movie of the year so far, I think. I'd really have to like sit down and go through the list of movies that I've seen this year and be like, okay, I did like that one a little more, but I'd be shocked if there was anything that came close. This one just hit me in the right way, and I hope it hits you in the right way. Once again, to remind you, Life of Chuck, 5 tacos plus guac. I cannot say enough about it, and I'm hoping that I gave you enough of chapter 3, and chapter 2, and to make the watching of chapter 1, not at all ruined and super duper special. The next movie, I've got 2 streamers to handle, and the first one is Predator. It's the first of 2 Predator movies we're getting this summer. And this one was a straight to streamer on Hulu, Killer of Killers. It's from the same creative team that gave us Prey, which was one of the best movies that came out, I think, 2021, whenever it came out. Just a fucking unbelievable movie. And Predator, Killer of Killers continues to build that world, and to continues to intelligently and seriously build a world of Predator that makes me actually want to see what's coming next, as opposed to just about every Predator sequel that came before it. Sorry, I did like Predators though, but that's fine. Killer Killers is an animated movie I mentioned, and it is it's a series of 4 unconnected at first vignettes that then are brought together for, like, it's 4 acts. It's not 3 acts, it's 4 acts. And acts 1, 2, and 3 are completely unconnected until they are connected in the 4th act. The first 3 acts take place centuries apart. The first act is happening is exploring predators when they visit Vikings. The second one explores a predator when he visits feudal Japan, and the third one visits the United States as it's getting into World War II. And it's interesting because the first 2 stories are just carnage. I mean, it really is just carnage. The story is, to say the story takes a backseat in the first 2 implies that there was any thought to the stories at all. I mean, it was just, we're going to establish these characters, and we're going to give you the carnage that you want in a Predator movie. The third film, or the third vignette, or the third character that we're introduced to, basically is a little more complex, and possibly because they can lean into the dialogue more, I guess. I don't know. But they establish a character who you might not normally associate with somebody who would be able to kill a predator. Not a Viking, not a samurai, just a kid from Southern California, from a farmer parents, of Mexican heritage, who has joined the war effort, and after seeing the crop dusters where he grew up, wants to be a pilot in the army, and oddly enough they let him. Which I'm all in favor with. Let's do revisionist history, but also let's not ignore the fact that there's no way. But neither here nor there. He is a pilot, and there's a pilot predator, and that it's different, and that was fun. And then those 3 stories are brought together, and in a climactic scene that again is fun and mixes the carnage from the first 2 stories with this sort of more problem solving, searching, soulful third one. And also we get a super quick glimpse of the character from Prey. So I liked it. This was really good. This was super fun. It wasn't great though. Like it wasn't great, but it was super duper fun. This one's getting 3 tacos plus guac. I reserve to give it. It's not 4 tacos. It's just not. But man, those are 3 great tacos, and it absolutely deserves the guac. No doubt. No doubt. Lastly, we've got Straw, which is currently streaming on Netflix. Straw is brought to us from none other than Tyler Perry, who, I don't need to explain who Tyler Perry is. And it stars Taraji P. Henson, who you almost definitely know from Hidden Figures, Hustle and Flow. Yeah, I mean, those would be the 2 primary movies that you probably know her from. And okay. Straw. It's the story of a Black single mother who is struggling to support her daughter with chronic illness, who just has a really hard time getting by, but also is bubbly, lively, full of life, just wonderful, but difficult to handle because of the problems that the physical problems that she has. And she has a hard time keeping her jobs because she ends up having to leave to go to the hospital a lot. She has all of these problems, and this is a day in the life of what happens on the day when she loses her job, as a cash register clerk at a grocery store. And same day when robbers, people who come to rob the store, come to, as she is trying to pick up her final paycheck, and she goes to the bank to try to cash her paycheck, and they won't accept it because she doesn't have her ID, and she doesn't have her ID because she got in a car accident on the way, and the police took her ID accidentally, but they took her ID. And just this movie is Falling Down. If you've ever seen Falling Down, if the problems of the person, of the Michael Douglas character, were actually fucking real and not 100% privileged white guy problems that brought on by his own shitty choices. What if we had the Falling Down movie for a Black woman who is just having an almost regular day, except this is the day that she happens to get fired? And man, this is not a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination. It is not. But if you are able to empathize with the character in this, and just be like, hey, everything that's happening to this poor woman is totally fucked up, and yet here she is being accused of robbing a bank. And it's like, and she can't leave the bank because one of the police officers involved in the accident that she was involved in is out there and threatened to kill her. And nobody believes her because it's kind of an important movie, but it's also like a totally flawed important movie. And like, if somebody watched it and said, oh, this, it's not perfect, but it's really effective. I thought it was really effective. I'm giving it 3 really solid tacos. I really did enjoy this one as much as you can enjoy watching a Black movie, a woman be accused of robbing a bank on the worst day of her life. The reason why I'm giving it 3 tacos, there is one reason. It has a bit of a thing at the end that is completely unnecessary, and I wish they hadn't done. That's it. It just has a bit of at the end where it's like, we didn't need to go down that road. It takes away from her just this is her fucking experience, and turns it into something that's like, oh well, that's the real. It's like, no, we don't need that. This is just her fucking life, and it's terrible. Not that her life is terrible, but it's terrible that this has to be her life. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got for you today. Next week, much faster than we expect, I'm going to be on Sunday with Sergio. It was the only day next week that he was available to come on and talk 28 years later with me. So I was just like, fuck yeah, we're going to do it on Sunday, because I'm not doing this without you, Sergio. So we're going to be banging out a 28 years later review on Sunday. Hopefully you'll join us. I am Paul Britton. This is Real to Real Talk. We hope to see you again.